screw all of this superstition. I remember being on the set at Deadpool 1 and saying, guys, I think this movie is going to open to 60 million. Shut up, Liefeld. You're going to jinx us. You don't talk about box office shooting the movie. I'm like, we don't? I was way off. 135 million. They're right. I jinxed the shit out of that movie. So here, I'm going to jinx the shit out of this one too. It's going to do great. Okay? People want it. They want my man. And they want the dude. They want these dudes.
I'm Coy Jandra with The Real Rejects. I am sitting down with one of my favorite comic creators, one of my favorite fans of comics, and frankly, one of my favorite people in this insane town of Los Angeles, the great Rob Liefeld. How you doing today, man?
Hey, good to see you, Coy. It's fun to connect.
Always, man. And I feel like Deadpool season is like its own season, be it the movie marketing, a comic coming out, and what have you. And you've been part of that now from the literal beginning.
Yeah.
How is this ramp up feeling in your end?
Honestly, the window tightens, you can feel it. I'm going to be honest. I may have told my family during Mother's Day lunch when we took out my beautiful wife Joy. I said, I feel like Deadpool Wolverine, it's at 58%. We're right now we're at 58%. So as we get closer, it's going to ramp up 65, 75. But you can really feel it. I've got people I didn't, I take for granted now that we get YouTube on our televisions and our big screens that this stuff plays in theaters, because I won't be at a theater for a few weeks, and then everybody's like, hey, I saw Deadpool Wolverine before Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. And I'm like, oh crap, I'm a week behind, so I gotta go check that out, man. I can't believe it's on big screen, like the trailer. And then you were there, we were in Vegas at Cinemacon. That silence your phones. People aren't ready for it. People are not ready for that.
That was the first thing I messaged you.
Everyone rushes to describe it first. Oh, let me tell you what they said. It's not as good as seeing it, right?
And the imagery, the moment we saw them two in costume, it was like my inner child didn't just get a win. It was like he woke up and shook me back into happiness.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Now you know how I feel when I was on set last summer in London. I was like, and there's a shot that's going around. It's in Empire magazine, and it's the shot where Wolverine looks like he's kind of yelling at Deadpool. Deadpool's turned away from him, and Sean Levy had just shot that scene that morning. I got there around noon, and he's like, "Hey man, I want to show you something." And Sean Levy's like, "I can't believe I was able to shoot this scene." And I'm like, dude, unbelievable. He was so excited. So yeah, no, it's going to be, I really do. This is the weirdest thing, Coy, but the industry legit. And when I mean the industry, I mean the theater that opened right before the pandemic up the street from us. Everybody needs this movie. Everybody needs this movie. And I think it's the one movie that people have put on the calendar. They're ready. If I had a dime for everybody who's told me that, I could finance the next Deadpool. Okay?
Deadpool 4 as sponsored by word of mouth.
Yes,
and
yes.
I don't think we've had a feeling like this ever in comic book movies, because Iron Man wasn't a sleeper, but it definitely wasn't expected. And by the time he got to Infinity War and Endgame, they had hedged their bets on a lot more pots. And now this is the year of Deadpool. And next year, if Superman doesn't do well, I don't think there's ever been so much weight on two properties in history of movies, with the industry being what it is. But you've got a Deadpool team-up comic, and I definitely want to talk about that because, man, this is such a journey to get to your final Deadpool story. Yeah. You invent Deadpool, and then you decide you want to end on your terms, which I love, man. I respect that you're retiring your tenure your way. What was it about this story that made you go, this is what I want my last story with the Merc to be?
You know, it's great that you asked me that, Coy. I really appreciate it. It's weird, man. So I've been in this business for just shy of 40 years. And Coy, as you keep doing it, and it's a weird business. You start out with a blank page every day. Even guys who work digitally, it's a blank page. For me, it's a blank 11 by 17 piece of Bristol board, and you fill it up, and it puts miles on you. And I have, in the last decade, done about 1,100, 1,200 pages. And that's a lot. I literally, in my space, in my mid-50s to like the mid-60s, I think there's 3 of us that are producing at this level. Still, what I'm saying is you keep doing it, and you do it because you love it or you don't do it. And I guess what I found out is a bunch of my peers just didn't love it the way I do, because to love it is to feel it. I've done a lot of work in the last decade, really leaned into it. I'm obsessed with having collections, my work collected on shelves. I love the fact that comic books come in these extreme, these incredible formats now. And so I said, this has got to be it for me. This last one, everybody watches people fall off. I watched my favorite artists do work that I think is unrecognizable. And so I am going to go out while I feel like like last year I did a thing called Deadpool Batter Blood, and then I did a story. They literally called me up and said, Rob, it's going to press. Can we put you in this book called Deadpool 7 Deadly Sins? And I said, yeah, sure. So I slammed in 10 more pages, wrote and inked it, had to get it done in a matter of like 10 days so it could go in the book. And so I'm doing all this Deadpool stuff. When I see it, it gets collected, and I'm really proud of it. I think like my Wolverine, my Deadpool, the Cable, all the characters still look good. And so you go, this is it. I need to call my shot, go out with a banger. And well, I'm going to be honest, right now in the Deadpool world, because I'm Grandpa Deadpool, I can tell you this. I see people are trying to do like cool KEWL characters. It's like, oh, the word got out. Maybe you should make some villains for Deadpool to fight, like I said 10 years ago, and then I've been doing. And so they're doing that. And I'm like, I'm not doing anything cool. I'm going completely weird. I am leaning all the way in to the weird. This is the most batshit insane Deadpool story I've ever told. And it includes, like, even Marvel didn't know this comic exists. I said, hey, I'm gonna use Ral Dorn. I'm gonna use Dragon Lord. And they're like, who the hell? I said, Dragon Lord, man. It's Dragon Lord.
He's on the cover.
It's by Steve Ditko, the guy who created Spider-Man for you, right? I mean, so I'm the thing that I grew up with, the peak, and anybody my age will tell you, Marvel Team Up and Marvel 2-in-1. The Thing had a monthly book where he would team up with characters in the Marvel Universe, and the Fantastic Four was the #2 best-selling franchise at Marvel at the time. So The Thing having his own book with assorted Marvel characters was a huge seller. Spider-Man was the #1 selling book at the time, and Marvel Team Up was part of the 4 monthly books Spider-Man had. But the thing that they both shared is they always teamed up with obscure characters that the editors wanted, characters that maybe didn't have their own showcase. They would give you Deadpool. I mean, they'd give you Spider-Man, Wolverine every once in a while, just so you'd, get a nice, really commercial flavor. But I am going completely obscure. So, I mean, you can't, I don't know that you get. People said, I'm buying this annual yesterday. I have no idea who this guy is. And I'm like, I love it.
Yeah, you're helping the old school go up in value with even obscure to us in the space. And that actually brings me to the next question. We've got a unique position in this town because not only are you a writer and an artist, but you've been in it long enough to have these deep pulls. So when you were assembling this team that you wanted intentionally obscure, did you go at it from a narrative place or from a power place of how you wanted the dynamics to work in this?
No. So I came at it from, I want, again, to have a bizarre weirdo story. And there's a MacGuffin, and Dragon Lord is he comes from a whole different dimension, Coy. He's teamed up with the Fantastic Four. This is his only appearance, but it's rich. There's bad guys, there's dragons. So like I figured pull Deadpool into this world in search of a MacGuffin, and then there's an important item that everyone is after, and of course Deadpool is pulled into it, and suddenly he's really in the middle of something so much bigger. I'm going to tell you, the first 3 pages of Deadpool Team Up #1, the first 3 pages, you are in the beginning of the 3rd act. And then Deadpool pulls you out and says, you may wonder how I got here. And then we tell you how he gets there. But so Chris Starr is another deep cut from the world of Marvel, and they have the rights to Chris Starr, which is a toy that you are way too young to understand or have enjoyed. But half of the people are like, Chris Starr, I can't wait. And then Chris Starr, who the hell is he? And so you got curiosity and excitement. So it will delve into the world of Chris Starr. But this morning I was drawing Wolverine and Deadpool fighting Chris Starr, and I'm like, little Robbie Liefeld in the sandbox is very happy. But no, we're getting someplace. I chose the characters very carefully: Hulk, Major X, Spider-Gwen, and it's going to land, and it's going to be really fun. And who knows? Maybe you're talking to somebody who's actually going to team up with Deadpool in the end. So I'm going super weird, Coy. I'm going.
I respect
super weird.
it, man. Why not? Like, have the blast you want at the end. And I do love the symmetry, and I have to assume it's intentional with Deadpool being your love letter to Spider-Man and Wolverine back in 1989, 1990, and that was your first story acknowledging that love, and now your final story being Wolverine and a Spider. How early on did you want to pair those two with your final Deadpool journey?
So just so people should know, like, I've done 2 issues of this, and we were into this last November. I mean, so that's how long it was planned out and got cleared. And of course, you have to give characters. I've talked on my podcast before how back in the day when you wanted Wolverine, who I got my sweet
in the
Wolverine
right suit.
Right here.
Yeah,
I got the this is the Mondo X-Men animated figure, so badass. You used to submit, like, I need to use Wolverine, and then they would like kind of check with everybody, seeing what's going on with Wolverine. The great thing, Marvel has been great. They said, Rob, tell whatever story you want. So I got clearance on everybody. And so, yeah, it's going to be, and there's going to be characters who pop up that were not advertised, some sneaky, just like Deadpool Wolverine. You're going to see a lot of shit that you don't know that you're going to see, right? So.
And actually, that brings me to that parallel. You're writing Deadpool Wolverine as we're seeing this ramp up, and the marketing and all these things are coming out. I mean, we saw some images of the cowl before anyone else did at Cinemacon. We're seeing all this in real time. How's that inspiring the energy for you? You've always had this passion and energy for these characters, but is it surreal to be flipping through TV, seeing your guys, going home, drawing your guys, and the Ouroboros of Deadpool Wolverine right now?
Yes, and look, I feel like this is the most Deadpool of all Deadpool movies, and I can't say more than that. But I got my own store. I got my own, I got
opening of the trailer. That was what a beautiful.
Okay. I got my own property in Deadpool land. So no, I honestly, Wolverine was my favorite character growing up, and I've been, as honest as I've ever been, and tied Deadpool into Weapon X because of my love for Wolverine, which is why they have a bond, which is why he appeared in Deadpool Wolverine Origins. All of that stuff was laid out by me a long time ago. But getting Hugh back and getting the proper craziness, and look, let's be honest, that's all Ryan and Hugh and Sean Livy. This movie can't be replicated either. I mean, so last year in Deadpool Batter Blood, Wolverine and Deadpool are together a ton. Like if I can at this stage, like I said, I'm in my later stages. I'm not a new guy anymore. And so when I put stuff together, I want it to matter, and I want it to resonate. And I want it to be the most exciting. And look, I think this movie shows it. We love team ups. And you mentioned, look, the last 5 Marvel films building to Endgame were all team ups. Civil War all the way through. People are all jamming with each other. Teaming up. Ragnarok. You had Hulk and Valkyrie. I mean, you had we love seeing the team ups, and so that's what makes Marvel such a rich, fun universe, and is the the frequency which everyone shares the universe. And I mean, we've already mentioned it, but obviously that's going to be on display in the film. But they did a great job of that in X-Men '97. You're like, hot damn, they're doing it. Like. One of my very favorite early on, I think I have it over here. It's in one of these early on actually it's my favorite run on the X-Men is the first issue that John Byrne did. And I talked about this early on in my podcast. It's the thing. Now you got to understand, when I'm reading this, I'm 9 years old. And when I'm 9 years old, X-Men just has this brand new artist. And on this page alone, I really felt like they were referencing this. There's this cosmic thing going on off-world, but here you see the White House, Captain America, the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four right here, the Avengers. They're all weighing in on what's happening. I feel something happening, in the sector. And then I think later on in the same issue, Silver Surfer and Doctor Strange, people are all reacting to it. And it's like, dude, that's what made the Marvel Universe. Those little, like, they'd cut away and you'd see everybody else reacting. And so that's one of the fun things about the Marvel Universe is the frequency with which they cross over and you get glimpses into other neighborhoods. And Marvel's always done it, I think, better than anybody.
And I think this last episode, it showed the Marvel animated universe is just as rich as the Marvel cinematic universe. And in one episode, they gave us the Avengers moment. They gave us that spin around 2012, but animated. And now I'm really excited because we've got, Spider-Man candid with Mary Jane again. That answered a mystery from 30 years ago. And we're also ramping up, I think. And I'm curious, with you being a fan of the Claremont era, but also now coming up in the time this is set, what would you, as a fan of both the Claremont era and the 90s comics that you came up through, want to see in season 2?
Well, look, I feel like Bo DeMeo may have left the show, but his name is on every episode, and his imprint is on every episode. This guy is a student of this, and he crushed it. And he went. I mean, Operation Zero Tolerance, I believe, is a Scott Lobdell story, and the Bastion stuff. But then he even jumped towards the end. And Bastion looked how he looked in Christopher Yost stories from
the X-Force stuff. I was shocked.
And so I mean, and then I mean, all the Cable shit is great. I mean, suddenly Cable jumps from being 1992 Cable to 1999 Cable, and I'm doing that 1999 Cable. So I'm like, that looks like my. And then you've got Apocalypse at the end, and you've got a little bit of Days of Future Past. You got some time travel. He's definitely mashing up the eras as expertly as anybody ever has. I mean, you're like, wait, we were just in the Inferno story, which is Claremont, and now we're in the Bastion story, and they're juggling the history of the X-Men expertly. And look, when you or I go online and we praise this stuff, all the choruses of all the fans who are enjoying it, just like we are, share their expectations, and it's fun reading everybody's projections of what they want. And I think people just want more of what we just got. That level of excellence, that level of character interaction. Everybody kind of got their moments. Rogue hasn't looked that good in years when she beat the snot out of Bastion and was invoking Gambit, and just, that was so great. I mean, it's like you said at the top, X-Men 97 ends and we're in like a 8-week window to Deadpool Wolverine.
Surreal.
They could not have rolled those carpets out next to each other. We get a chance to take a deep breath, and then I just think Deadpool Wolverine, I'm going back to what I said. We're at 58% right now. It's growing. Look, I do live streams all the time. I can tell you, I did a variant on the X-Men 97 #1, and it came out like 7 weeks ago, and it's the most comic books. The most in-demand comic book I've been a part of in the last decade, and people were just, we couldn't keep them in stock. We sold out, and it's incredible. Suddenly the X-Men have roared all the way back, and you can't, if it's X-Men, it's also Deadpool Wolverine. So it's great, and that's a huge, if not my entire legacy at Marvel is in the X-Men office. So I worked in there because I loved it, and I was eager to partake in it because I was a huge fan myself. So it's a gold time, man. Fandom is, you can see how happy everybody is because the stuff is coming off so great. And I don't think people are prepared. There is going to be some, like, you're not going to be able to move. I'm telling you, the stuff I'm so proud of, that 3 set visits, 3 movies, nothing ever leaked. I kept my yap trap shut. Very difficult to do. But I'm like, wow, the stuff I saw still hasn't been sniffed in the previews.
Wow.
And I was like, what am I watching? What are you doing? This is happening? Like, I was pretty blown away.
Well, I've heard you say that it's the best action since Winter Soldier, and I've heard you say it's the big thing to bring us back.
Which apparently was a very controversial thing to say.
That is the bar.
You know what? It's because I said it. It's because, who does Liefeld, look, you know what Liefeld knows? I'm a great action artist. When people compliment me, they go, you do some of the best action. Just before I hopped on here today, somebody said, when I see the trailer and I see the action, it reminds me of your, people are showing this to me online, and they're going, the stuff that I'm seeing in the trailer, and they're not
154 and 155, man. Yeah, I've been saying it for 2 years. It's coming.
That's it. And the stuff that you see does invoke scenes in these comics. And because other times Deadpool and Wolverine, it's been inside. They're inside. When you see them, they're outside. They're outside here. I think that's why people are drawing the comparisons. But the thing is that I just was not completely aware of what was being presented to me. So you had mentioned about the action and how I've said and
the Winter Soldier parallel that got so controversial.
So I know. So here's a great deal. Here's I just want to make sure I say his name right. My man, his name's Alex. Alex, I only call you Alex, but Kisovich. Okay, Alex was Ryan's Deadpool double in the first movie. Then he was Josh's Cable double in the second film, and then he's back. And they asked him to be the stunt guy, doing some mapping out the stunts, because he comes from the David Leitch, background and has tremendous. And I'm telling you, he on his Instagram today, that somebody put my quote about the action, and he said, "Thank you, Rob Liefeld." And I'm like, Alex, don't thank me. You created these great stunt coordination, for the film and for Sean Levy and for Ryan. And it is as good a superhero action that you have seen, I said, since, Winter Soldier. You can throw the great stuff in Civil War, but when I saw it, I'm like, this is what the action audiences expect now with John Wick raising the bar. It's and look, we want great action. Winter Soldier had some of the best superhero action I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
So when I saw this, of course, I want great action. I want great shots, it's, what I should say? It's very imaginative. I believe the action is very imaginative. And no, they're not showing you the best stuff. Why would they? You know how confident they are when they're showing you the stuff they are, and the stuff they're showing you is very good. But they know that what they have and they're not showing you is very great. So I'm going to tell you right now, screw all of this superstition. I remember being on the set at Deadpool 1 and saying, guys, I think this movie is going to open to 60 million. That's 2015. That's a big number in 20. Yeah. And I was told, I've repeated the story, shut up, Liefeld, you're going to jinx us. You don't talk about box office shooting the movie. I'm like, we don't? I was way off, 135 million. They're right.
Biggest R-rated opening of all time at the time. I mean, come on.
I jinxed the shit out of that movie. So here, I'm going to jinx the shit out of this one too. It's going to do great. Okay? People want it. They want my man and they want the dude. They want these dudes. They want him so bad. People are, somebody the other day was like, Rob, do you think they'll up the release by a few weeks? I'm like, I'm not sure that's happening. Like, people want this movie because Ryan is so enigmatic as Deadpool. It's the role of his career. I don't think he would argue with you. Everybody has that role. Arnold has that role. Bruce Willis, Die Hard. It's Deadpool for Ryan, and it's Wolverine for Hugh. So even Sean Levy, in front of all of us at Cinemacon, said in the roles that they are most famous for, okay? So that's how we want them. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see it. But like I said, the stuff that I saw has not been seen, and I'm telling you, there's so much more. I think they really did a good job of keeping a lid on it. So I'm excited. And Deadpool Team Up will be out a couple weeks after, so you'll be wanting some more Deadpool, and we'll be giving it to you. But let me tell you something else. At Cinemacon, all the merch I saw that they only put on the floor maybe a quarter of what's coming to your theaters. And I'm going to tell you, I've said this again on my podcast too. These theaters are going to be like toy stores.
It's going to be staggering. We're going to be waiting in line to not see movies. I'm
like, I need 6 of those cups, 6 of those buckets. And then I'm going to go to AMC and get theirs, and I'm going to go to Regal and get theirs. I need some of those straw toppers. Holy crap, Coy, the stuff that I saw that no one has seen. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, they were just unzipping suitcases, flipping them open, and they're like, look at these. And I'm like, can I have these now? Because I'm a merch guy. I love the merch. So Wolverine and Deadpool, it's going to be great.
I'm as proud Papa Bear of your other kid, Cable. I gotta ask, and it's really funny. I'm looking at my notes, and you and I have talked dozens of times over the years. So at this point, I love prepping for our interviews because it's more of a process of elimination of what we haven't talked about. Yes. And we've literally hit 154, 155. But Cable, I feel like this representation in hand and the representation we got on this finale are my two favorite out of comic medium Cables. That dinner scene with the Summers family, of them connecting, and that moment with Scott and Jean, that the bit of like family dynamic that we never get to see because no one gives him the time. Cable got his time.
They don't.
What was that like as Papa Bear to see him get his time?
Here, I'll get that rendition. I thought we were going to talk about this rendition right here. Okay, I got them all. They're all in reach in the house. No, that's what people love. And you know, it's so funny. Coy, again, so many people are new to this stuff, to be honest. And that's one thing that I am thankful that there are always new fans coming in. And Marvel is aware too. You don't think that my kids were new fans to Marvel? They were. Luke Liefeld, Chase Liefeld. My kids were new fans. Their dad made comic books, but they didn't give them the time of day until, you know, it clicked on screen. And then, wow, this world is incredible. And that's most of the population. People, I had mentioned a couple weeks, about 2 months ago, how popular Cable was back in the day. And I had shown some screenshots of the way he was covered. And when he was listed as the #1, you know, most popular character in comics at the time by all the different trade magazines. And people were like, oh, I've never heard of him. I got a fair amount of insults. You're crazy. I've never heard of that character. He was never popular. Cut to Xmen 97. Who is Cable? Oh, he's awesome. I love him. Is he really supposed to be that much bigger than his dad? And you know what? No gatekeeping. You're like, come on in, catch up. I'm so glad you dig this character, and now you're aware of what we all were talking about. But no, I mean, Cable was in 5 episodes of that show. I mean, that is a lot of exposure. And so there's an all-new, audience for these stories and the X-Men. I think there's a whole group who had never heard of Gambit, had never heard of Jubilee, had never heard of Forge. And that's the power of having something in your living room that you can access. That is the power of media coming straight into your home, just like the original did on Saturday mornings on Fox. And I mean, I think Disney's the second biggest of all the streaming platforms. And I mean, they're obviously a considerable powerhouse. And now X-Men. I mean, isn't it funny? They used to have no relationship with X-Men for 20 years.
Just pushed them
over
there.
And now it's like, here they are. And then let's be honest, they couldn't have come at a better time. And look, at least in Empire Magazine, Feige admitted, look, you'd have to be hiding. I think the quote is, you'd have to be hiding under a rock to not notice that we, bottom line, I don't even know if they've been hitting singles. They definitely haven't been hitting doubles, and they haven't had a home run in a long time. And now it looks like a couple of home runs. And look, here's the deal. I hope your viewers understand. I'm a Marvel guy. Okay?
Through and through.
I'm 51% Marvel, 49% DC. I'm always, the edge will always be, the more Marvel comics touched me than and my career took off at Marvel. It really sparked today, opened the gates for me. So I'm a Marvel homer. That goes without saying. So
it is crazy to have mutant messiahs in real life with the way life is going, bringing Marvel back via the mutants that we couldn't get merch for X-Men for 20 years. We couldn't get shirts or things, and now it's everywhere because of it. And I mean, I give credit to a certain guy.
And the self-proclaimed Marvel Jesus. There he is. Ryan, I wonder how much fun he had saying that line. I'm like, yeah, he must have had so much fun because he knows what it was like at Fox. And
11 years of trying to get that made. That's so insane.
And then I got to be honest. I don't give a shit if anyone cares. When this is old news. When Disney was going to buy Fox, there were people at Fox that weren't excited about that. They knew that was going to be streamlined, and people in marketing and all different services were going to lose their jobs. And some of the people who were really great to me, they were super grumpy about the news that they were being bought. And I don't know if your audience remembers, but they moved Deadpool 2 to wedge it between Infinity War and Solo. It wasn't originally there. And that was a big, they were definitely pissed. And I remember maybe some Fox executives, like when the big, I think it was the second week of Infinity War. No. I think it was a full 2 weeks after, maybe 3, maybe at the most 3. But Deadpool opened again to 130, some giant number, and that slowed the crawl of Infinity War and kind of got in front of Solo. Executive moves, man. Like, oh yeah. Oh, and you know what? I can't get off without saying, what the hell? Okay. This is the thing that people send me the most now. Look. All props to Ryan. Okay, amazing. Nothing is like Deadpool on a Coke. It's next level, dude. Everybody, my wife, my family members know. Do you have those Deadpool on Cokes? We go to Walmart and it's all Daredevil. We go to Target and it's all Nick Fury. And I'm like, can't help you. I don't have an in with Coke. But boy, like this feels like a new achievement. Like
that's like, another level, man.
I'm like,
that's Olympics.
Okay, and I don't have it here. It's in the refrigerator. But Cable is on the bottles.
Yeah,
Cable is on the bottles. Deadpool's on the cans.
I like that it's his gun size. They gave Cable, like, he's a bigger pouch. My last thing before we wrap out, and it's only a big congratulations because I know it's early days, so you can't talk about it much yet, but after Barbie, where does Margot Robbie go? And I haven't seen you since it became official. You and I have talked about it for a while, but now that I can publicly say it, man, congratulations on Avengelyne, Simon Kinberg, who's been in your, like, you guys have been homies forever, and I'm really excited, man. This, Olivia Wilde, Margot Robbie, Simon Kinberg, how excited are you?
Margot Robbie, holy shnikes. I don't think my family's ever been more excited. I think my daughter liked me a little more the day after, even though she knew about it. Like, we went to France for vacation last June, and everything had to stop because of the writer's strike and the actor's strike. And all of this was in play. It just had to stop. Margot was on board, Olivia was on board, and then it really didn't get ramped up, obviously, again, till end of the year. And then in the business of LA, if you get to December, there's no more business.
Till February.
Holidays, everyone's going skiing, vacation. So 2024, the calendar turned and we were able to land the plane. But super excited. Never in a million years did I believe that talents the thing about Margot, she's so beyond a great actress. Her taste, whether it's Saltburn, I, Tonya, I don't think people quite know how long she's been producing films. And then Olivia Wilde, I'm a huge fan. I think it's the perfect mesh. Simon, I literally went to Simon and said, can you help me assemble this? And he literally said, hold my Coke. I'll be right back. And every time he came back, he's like, here, I'm going to show you what's behind door number 2. What? No, it's great. When we went out, look, we went one place with it. Our first, around when you have a project, you set meetings to see if people want to participate. So our first stop was Warner Brothers, and they never let us leave. We didn't meet with anybody else. No Universal, no Sony, no Paramount, no Disney. We never got off the lot. They kept us there.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. I have a project at Warner Brothers now. Woo. So no, thank you. Obviously, I'm very excited. I think you're the first person I've been able to talk to about it. So yeah, no, and let me tell you something. Margot, I've told everybody, I did what anybody who made 90s Avengelyne comics would do in the presence of Margot and Olivia. I started apologizing for them. Oh, I'm sorry. She's wearing
the time.
And they're like, we love it. No, don't apologize. We love it. We love the flavor. We love how powerful this character is. We have, I think the one thing people are missing, and it certainly wasn't there's a fair amount of humor in this movie. More than I think people, but the intent of Avengelyne always was she's alien to humans, an angel that's fallen to Earth that is kind of regulated to live among humanity for a while, comes with its own set of issues. So it's great. I'm so excited. Thank you for mentioning it. It's underway. We're on track.
Dude, you're having a big year. I really Deadpool team up, man. And then all of this.
Boy, there's so much more coming. There's so much more. I'm building stuff. Old Rob Liefeld learned to be patient. And I just, I'm patiently, we're building it out. We're going to keep showing you more cool stuff as it goes along. The other Extreme characters are heading very, very quickly.
Well, this is just the announcement for Team Up. So when Deadpool's about to come out, let's sit down. I'll try to get Marvel to send me an advance copy. We'll sit down and we'll talk about Team Up again. We'll talk about this guy some more. So let's scheme in July.
We have to have a cameo by Josh. Josh, hey. Anyway,
we'll call Josh. He'll talk about Avengelyne. Yeah, dude, I really want to talk about the Josh of it all because you and I haven't seen each other since everything's been ramping up post Dune, and I know we both love Dune too. So, to be continued in July.
He's such a massive, gigantic. He's the coolest guy on planet Earth, and he's just. I don't know what he's in his 4th or 5th act, but each act keeps getting better than the last. He's like, now I'm badass Josh Brolin on alien planets, right? So
he's like Keanu and Tom Cruise. They just keep reinventing their action stardom.
Yes, the coolness keeps growing. Absolutely.
So yeah, we'll talk as these things get more public. I'm super excited, but Team Up drops in August, and I'm so excited to check it out, man. And congratulations. I'm just so stoked for you.
Goy, thanks for having me, buddy.
Of course, we'll talk soon.
Okay.